Welcome to the Asian Women of Power podcast, second season. In this season, we will bring in something different and unexpected. The stories from our guests will be richer and more colorful. I hope that these stories will get into your heart. With me here today is Dr. Anhlan Nguyen. Dr. Anhlan is currently serving on three organizations. She is the Director of Development and Marketing on the Institute of Civic Education in Vietnam, ICEVN. This is a 501c3 nonprofit organization founded by her husband in 2005. She is also a co-chair of the board of directors for the Vietnamese Culture and Science Association, VCSA, in which mostly serving youth in the North American regions. She is also a founder of Lyceum, a social enterprise under umbrella of ICVN. In 2012, Dr. Anhlan Nguyen was appointed by President Obama to serve on the board of VEF, a national foundation established by the U.S. government to foster the relationship between the U.S. and the Vietnam through higher education. Now, please help me welcome Dr. Anhlan Nguyen.
Hi, Kinchi. It's my pleasure to be on this talk show.
Thank you. Before we talk about your involvement with these organizations, let's give the viewers some background on where you have been in the past 50 plus years of your life.
I was born in Hue, which is a city in the central region. And actually, I belong to a royal family. In the old days, people would call me Princess Anhlan. I would wish, right? I belong to the last Nguyen dynasty. My grandfather has 7 wives and 2 concubines. And my grandmother was the 3rd wife. So I grew up in Hue. When I was born in Hue, but actually grew up in Saigon. And I spent my childhood, my father is a civil engineer, and my mother is a mathematics teacher at a very famous school called Trung Vương High School. And I had a very peaceful childhood until 1975. After 1975, as you know, the South lost to the North. Vietnam was united, but it started the exodus of Vietnamese refugees. And our families belong to the same group. So we try a lot. So there's a lot of hardship. My dad was put in re-education camp. As soon as he's getting out, he tried to plan a lot of escape. It took him 9 times. And I was a teenager back then. I was put in jail twice because of escape. But I think one of the most significant experience that I got was one time I was escaping with my brother. I was 19 years old. And it was a boat that's 15 meters long, but 300 people. Just imagine 300 people stuck in a boat of only 15 meters. And when we arrived at the international border, the boat started sinking. And the captain decided if we continue to move on, the boat will sink and everybody would die. So he made the decision to go, to drive back to the shore. And about 300 meters from the shore, the boat started sinking. So I think it was the worst tragedy that I witnessed that night. That evening, now luckily I was able to swim. So my brother and I were able to swim to the shore, but that night, half of the people on that boat didn't make it. And after we get to the shore, then, there's a possibility to be caught by the local police, and we somehow miraculously escape all of that and come back to Saigon. But I lost 4 pounds. I lost 4 pounds just within that couple of evenings of that experience. And then after several other escapes, we ended up going to Canada according to my father's sponsorship, because my father tried the ninth attempt. He was successful, and then he got the sponsorship for the Canadian government, and he lived in Montreal because he spoke French, and he prepared a sponsorship, and so we ended up came to America through Canada as an immigrant. But actually, I always consider myself as a boat person because I had those experiences.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So, from your experience seeing more than half people die from your boat, what did you promise yourself to do or achieve to live up to that blessing that you got the second chance in life?
Actually, on that boat, I have a very dear teacher. Actually, my mom asked my teacher to take care of me, and he died right in front of me. He was not supposed to die because he knows how to swim, but he died because he tried to help other children to move between the two, like you go from the taxi to the boat, right? And because when he helping that, he just flipped and he fall into the water, and somehow his head hit something, and then he became unconscious. And I remember I cried, I yelled, somebody help, but it was very chaotic at the time. But I remember before he was falling into the water, he told me, when you live in a life, you got to do what is right. And I could have stayed here, but I come back and helping this kid because, we need to do that. I remember that for the rest of my life. And seeing the people die in front of me, searching for freedom, it's just so tremendous. And when I arrived in America, I promised myself I never took this for granted. I never take this for granted. Living in the freedom, in a free society like America, we are giving the privilege that millions of people do not have. So I promised myself I would do my best to serve, and that's the reason why I volunteer a lot. I do a lot of volunteer work to serve, to help other people, to feel that I deserve the freedom that I'm given.
Yeah, thank you. I can see the passion and the purpose in your life. So when and how did you get involved with the nonprofit organization?
I always volunteer. When I was starting as a student at University of Toronto, I served as the president of the Vietnamese Student Society. So together we do a lot of good things, good project for students. But I also involved in the scouting movement. And in Canada, it's called Girl Guides of Canada or Scout Canada. So I was actually the brownie pack guider. So I was in charge of a brownie pack, which is brownies. Its age is from 5 years old to 9 years old. They're very cute, and I was in charge of 50 girls. All of them are Vietnamese Canadian, and I was also involved in the Rovers, which is another scout group that for older people, like people from 18 to 25. And I became a scout leader. And for that, I strongly believe in leadership. So after I graduated from U of T, I felt that I need to have a center for the young people to interact. And at the time, there was none. So I founded one. I founded the Vietnamese Youth Center of Toronto, and that was the first organization, nonprofit, that I founded. And with a lot of friends from the scout groups and from the student group. And I became advisor for the student society, and a lot of things just happened naturally. I was also actively involved in the book, what is called Refugees Initiative at the York University, because, knowing what the boat people were going through, I was so upset when I saw that they were forced repatriated back in the 1990s. So during the day, I graduated from college, became a professional working at IBM, but at my free time, I volunteer so much on those things. I actually sleep very little, all of those days. So when I got married and moved to America, I found Vietnamese Culture Association just right in Houston, and I became involved right away. And before I know it, I became the president, and then after that, I became the chair of the board. And then I also involved at least 3 or 4 other nonprofits, all different causes, but mostly is for youth leadership development is my passion. In 1998, I founded a youth leadership camp called Lên Đường Camp, hosted by VCSA, and it became one of the most successful stories of Vietnamese Americans communities in United States and also in Canada.
Wow. Wow. That is wonderful that you get exposed early and you notice the drive. You get involved early to serve the community and get involved with the nonprofit organization.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
It's in my blood.
It's on your blood.
It's in
Not
my
in
blood.
Vietnam, right? Only in when you came to America, right?
No, actually in Vietnam, I was belong to the youth movement, and actually, it was a long story, but basically, in my life, I always been active, and I love working with the youth. So as I get older, I still working with the youth.
Okay.
And all of the brownies back then, when I was in Canada, they became dentists, doctors, they became professionals. That's was, guess how old I am. Again, the Lên Đường camp, they trained 5,000 leaders, 5,000 Asian Americans that graduated from that camp. And I'm so happy to see the transformation that the camp brought out from these kids. And I knew that each person in our world, each person has such a unique gift. The thing is, how can you create an opportunity for each youth to experience that and to be inspired? You can imagine how much better and what kind of transformation that you can help to create. And then when my husband started the Institute for Civic Education in Vietnam, it is another wonderful opportunity for me to connect with the youth in Vietnam, because we offer online classes through the program for civic education, and basically teaching how to become a good citizen. But remember, Aristotle have said long time, like 2,500 years ago, in order to become a good citizen, you've got to become a good person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who person is. It's all about character development. So connecting with these students and help mentoring them, I saw the tremendous opportunity to serve. I just feel so much alive. So basically, I have 2 lives. One is I still very successful in my professional world and became an IT professional. You've got to be updated with technology all the time. I love mathematics. So I enjoy it. But then, at night, I became a different person. I became so connected, and all my vacation were used for nonprofit work. And that's the reason why I was able to raise nearly $5 million when I counted all the fundraising that I raised throughout my life. It's coming that much because I work nonstop. And the drive in me, it becomes stronger and stronger every day.
Wow. It's amazing. So you mentioned that you have helped to raise $5 million.
Yes.
And it took you a while. But even so, what do you think are the skill sets that people need to learn to be able to raise funds for a nonprofit organization?
I think that could take another talk show. I'm putting together a curriculum to put like fundraising for small nonprofit organizations. I hope to roll it out pretty soon. But basically for nonprofit, like you talking about in nonprofit world, you have different size, right? So for Asian American community, mostly we have small or tiny size. Just like my husband, when he started the Institute for Civic Education in Vietnam, his salary is $1 per year. So for the first 10 years, he got paid like $10. So the budget is only like 25,000. So I help him to raise 25,000 to $30,000 dollars every year. And we didn't apply for any foundation. We didn't apply for the governmental agency. We raised by just public donation. And when I became full-time for this institution, I was able to bring it to $100,000. And that happened last year. This year, the goal is $150,000. So the key thing, I think, for fundraising is the cause. You've got to really passionate about the cause. It's in your heart. You've got to really connect with the donors, not in the relationship of someone, it's not the need from your organization to raise this money. No, it is addressing the needs of the donors. The donors have some interest, and of course you have to identify those donors that actually interested in the cause of your organization. That is the top priority. And then secondly, you have to connect to the donor in such a way that your organization is only a vehicle to connect the donors with the cause that we implement. And the impacts, all the programs that this nonprofit does, actually the result of their donation. And we have a portion, a task we call donors cultivation, which is the relationship you build between the organization and the donor. You've got to be strategic about that. You really have to engage the whole board, and actually forming a special task force just focusing on building this relationship, keep communication to these donors or sponsor, and making sure they understand what their money are being used for. And also showing them, because of their donation, these are the impacts that the organization was able to create. And it is though communication, cultivation that really leads. So when it's time to fundraise, they're ready. They just bring out the check and write. That makes sense?
Absolutely, it does make sense. And thank you for explaining it so clearly.
I learned that from Association of Fundraising Professional. Believe it or not, I also got a diploma after I stopped working in corporation. I told myself I want to be able to become a professional fundraiser. So I took the 9-month program called the Diploma for Principles of Fundraising, that offered by Association of Fundraising Professional based in, based in DC. And it's amazing. It helped me so much. And so the mindset in the fundraiser should be donor focus, donor eccentric focus. And we never thought about that that way. So it really transformed the way that I fundraise. And that's the reason why I was able to triple the goal. And my plan is 10 times. I want to raise $1 million for this institution. It's still, in the next couple of years. So let's see how it works.
Wow. I know that you will achieve that because I can see through your passion and your purpose. So best of luck on that. I know you will get it. So you had worked for 20 plus years in the professional, 25 years. Okay. So you work 25 years and on and off, you mentioned that you always involved with the nonprofit organization, right? Non-stop. Wow. Non-stop. Okay. But in 2017, you retired from professional full-time job, right? Of course, you still continue working.
I'm not retiring. I'm still too young to retire.
Yeah. I'm talking about
Yeah.
The traditional career,
Okay.
right? So in 2017, you quit that and you start Lyceum, which is another social enterprise under ICVN.
Yes.
What motivated you to start this enterprise right now?
I saw so much need. Like there's a crying heart in me. Um, I have been an educator all my life. Even I work in the institution, the MD Anderson Cancer Center as an IT portfolio manager, but I also involved, like through my 4 years of work under the appointment of President Obama, I was connected with the Vietnam Education Foundation. So I came back to Vietnam twice with the trip with the VEF, and I was able to connect with 600 students, Vietnamese national students who are coming to America, who came to America learning to get the PhD or master degree in STEM areas. And through this engagement of 4 years, it changed my life. I really saw the dear need of education in Vietnam. And also because of the connection with a hundred and university in United States, I also had the chance to interact with a lot of educators. I saw that there's a strong need here too. If you look into the landscape of America, you know what is the proportion of people who really, what they call workforce engagement? Only 30%. Less than 30% of people going to work every day and not engaged in their work. And that is a waste of potential. And in school, and if you look into the landscape of the whole America, I think 70% of people are not happy. And there's a lot of stressful, and there's a lot of, because I work in healthcare, so there's some diseases like cancer. You know, cancer is very widespread, and also some stress-related problems, health problems like not diabetes, but
high blood pressure,
diabetes, all of that because it's stress-related.
Yep.
And all of these, because the way that we live, there's so much pressure put it on a person, and the emotional resilience of that person is not enough. Now, looking at the kids, our kids is drowning. I don't know how about you, but I don't have any children, by the way, but I have like 1,000 kids under my supervision in all of my 20 years of involvement with youth. And I saw that our children, I mean, regardless of what kind of race, they all bombarded by the pressure from school, from family, especially for Vietnamese American families. There's a lot of pressure to become, you have to become a doctor, you have to become a dentist, you have to become this and that. And they're drowning. And if you look into teen suicidal rate is getting unbelievable. And this is from Center of Disease Control, the national organization, specialized in that. They had a statistic that really startling. They said that for the white Caucasian communities, the rate of teen suicidal increased by 70% compared 2006 to 2016 within 10 years.
70.
70% increase.
Wow.
The ratio is unbelievable. And for the black, they didn't do statistic on Asian, okay? But they did for white and black. So for the black kids, it increased by 77%. It just, so it showed the pressure. It showed that there is something not right in our society. We need to fix. And I'm all passionate about emotional intelligence. If you are emotional intelligent, you are aware of your emotions, and you know that how to really manage your emotion and relate to others, and working with others in harmony, in collaborative effort. your life will be much better. And so I'm very passionate about this. And because when I worked on my dissertation, by the way, and I did that dissertation when I worked full time and served on 3 other nonprofits. I don't know how and then also served on the VE at board. It's just crazy. Like I got like 80 hours or sometimes 100 hours work with. But the passion, took me long way. But through that dissertation, I learned about the power of emotional intelligence. And I realized, oh gosh, what if I can spread this word? What if I can send this message and helping other people to really anchor on the best version of themselves? Mm-hmm. And knowing that all of this stress is not stress. It is stressful thoughts. And your thoughts can be controlled by yourself, If you know that is the key for success. So I started thinking, and then I encounter a model called G.R.A.C.E. G.R.A.C.E. It is a system of 5 values for character education that we promote in Camp Lendung, in the youth leadership camp. And it was created by the New Moon Foundation, which is based in Hawaii. Now they changed the name now, and I was one of the grantees. But when I took it, I implemented, oh my goodness. And actually I learned and I practiced to myself, my life transformed. Mm-hmm. So I saw the power of grace. So I decided myself, why not make it into a curriculum? So we developed a curriculum and we taught it online through Vietnamese in Vietnam. And I saw tremendous transformation just within 7 weeks. And I told myself, I need to get this message out to the world. And this is my purpose. This is why I'm here. So that's the reason why I started Lyceum, because Lyceum is a life skill and professional development for success. And we use emotional intelligence model combined with great framework to really encourage coaching, training, and enabling people to empower themselves to be the best version they can. It's just amazing to see, I'll give you an example, like practice gratitude, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, if you look into someone, you always see that we have the tendency to look at the thing that we don't have and feel bad about it, right? Or something we just lost. But we never focus on what we have. So if you change your focus, instead of focus on what you don't have, then you feel bad. You focus on what you have and look at what you have. You have a lot, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But again, if we leave it to the nature, we always look out for the thing that we don't have and we feel bad about it. And that's why it gives you some incentive to continue to get what you don't have so that you can be successful. But there's a limit. There's a balance in it. If you focus so much on that, you will feel so sad that you don't have as many as others. And that is just an illusion. You have so much. The fact that you exist on this earth is a miracle already. Don't you agree?
Yes, absolutely.
1 out of 400 trillion to exist here.
You won the battle.
Exactly, right? Yeah. It's more than winning the lottery. But again, people forget. Mm-hmm. And again, you focus on what you can control, or you focus on what you cannot control. If you focus on what you cannot control, guess what? You feel so powerless. You said, oh, I'm just a victim of the situation. Oh, anything outside of me, they control. I just cannot do much about it. So that is one option. You have choice. The other option is you look at, okay, what I can control in this situation. If something happens, and the one that focus on what you can control, focus on what you have. So you always abundant. You never lack, right? And focus on the future instead of focus on the past. That, and every of us, including me, myself, everybody, always has some bad experience in the past, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe we were hurt, or we feel, I don't know, and even lost. I lost my parents last year. And that was the toughest situation I went through. So I practice this focus. I focus on what I have, I focus on what I can, and I focus on the future. I ask myself the right questions, so I go through that. I didn't kill myself.
Mm-hmm.
The sadness is just so much. But again, you had the choice to pick between what you can control or what you cannot control. So those
Mm-hmm.
are powerful lessons that we can share with anybody, and we can make this world a much better place to live. So why not? So that's the reason why I start Lyceum.
Yep. I appreciate you sharing that. And you mentioned about the Grace model. Um, I'm totally aligned with what you do. Although my focus is to serve the Asian American women, because I feel that it starts with a woman, a mom, right, a
Mm-hmm.
wife, and
Mm-hmm.
it's it starts from there. So if the mom or the wife or the daughter is transformed, if she feel positive, she feel energized, she believe in herself, she's happy,
Mm-hmm.
everybody around her will be happy. She's like the queen, she's
Oh,
like in
there
the
is the
center.
queen.
Yep. And
I'm
then,
with you.
yeah. And I think when the mom is happy, when she conceived the children, a child in her body,
Mm-hmm.
that trigger happiness, peaceful thought and well-being to the baby, right? So that's why I say, okay, I'm focusing on the woman first, the
Mm-hmm.
mom, the wife, the mom, the wife, and the daughter. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you focus on the use, which is admirable. It's
I also
we
in
have to start from somewhere, right? Yeah.
and I also with you. Like I also involved in the woman network here,
Hmm.
and in one of the podcasts that I hope to, and for sure you will be one of the candidates to be interviewed, would be doing a woman empowerment speaker series to really engage women. And my interest is woman entrepreneur, which
Mm.
is a woman that wears so many hats. I have so many friends in this category, and they are just invincible. And my mother-in-law is one of them. She's
Mm.
a businesswoman, and she has 10 kids. And she came to America with $20. $20, 10 kids, no husband. Just imagine, how can you survive?
Wow.
Nowadays,
Wow.
we're thinking about having a kid, and we already feel so stressed. How can we support and teach one kid? She had 10. My husband is her oldest son.
Wow.
And how could she survive? And she became one of the most well-known, well-established businesswoman in Houston before she retired. I never see her stop working. It's
Mm.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. And I'm also serving those women as well, because sometimes we as a woman in business, right, we focus to serve others, and we
Mm,
don't look into serve ourselves, right? We don't take care of
exactly.
ourselves, and then we will
Self-care.
be depleted and get sick and things like that. So I'm
We
here to
always
stop
put
that.
us at the bottom.
Yeah, we always put
Bottom of
us
the
at the bottom.
priority
Yeah.
list, right?
Yeah, that's right. So um are so right now you are working simultaneously in three organizations,
Mhm.
right? Is your role very similar across all these three organizations?
Very different. So with the Vietnamese Culture and Sign Association, I'm just sort of like advisory role. And I serve as the board chair, and I actually co-chair with a mentee. She graduated from Harvard. Man, I have so many stories from this organization. I can say all day. But she was honored as a valedictorian in our organization because we honor high school students who are Vietnamese American and graduate at valedictorians or salutatorians. So she was one of the honorees, and she got full scholarship to Harvard. And And every year in Harvard, she came back to serve in the local community in Houston in the summer. I took her in as my mentee. And now she graduated, she became a consultant, and she came back for an executive MBA for another university in New York. And yet she's still willing to serve at the chair, the co-chair with me. So my role this year is transitioning and developing this young lady so that she can take over the organization so I can retire and focus on other things. And one of my most proudest moment is seeing all of the youth that I mentored a long time ago. Now they all became successful. That is the best, best feeling. Right? So I mentor at least about a few hundred youth in all my life. Wow. And right now I'm currently coaching for free. Like I'm a coach. So I do coaching for high client, but I also coach some of the youth in Vietnam for free because they cannot afford this. But I saw the potential, so I picked them up and help them.
How do they reach out to you from Vietnam?
They actually sign up for the online classes in the Institute for Civic Education in Vietnam.
Do they have to pay for that class?
No, it's all free.
Okay.
That's why it's called nonprofit, right? But my plan is in the future we will have some fee-based curriculum so that it leads the institution into an U.S. accredited college of liberal arts. But right now, because the main purpose is spreading the message, is really spreading the concepts of what to become a good citizen, how to become a good person, because the core element of any society is the person themselves, right? Citizens themselves can be empowered, can be very powerful and impactful and willing to serve. That is when you can create community, that is when civil society can be successful. So we focus on that through education, through ICVN, to really help. And I met tremendous students from this program. So I took interview and I worked with them. And the best gift, again, I share with you, Kim Chi, it's just like seeing them transform.
Absolutely.
One of the students that I helped, now he became a staff, helping with ICN. He came from the place where he didn't know English. He couldn't even speak one word, okay? And he has a young daughter, 5 years old back then. And he came from that place. He went through our program. I coached him. I gave him the GR.A.C.E mindset. He totally absorbed into it. And he started studying by himself. And his tremendous motivation is that he wants his daughter to speak English and speak with the excellent accent. And guess what? So he used the total just like using the internet, YouTube, and all the tools from Facebook, social media. He came up with a program, and he learned English. And after 3 years, can you believe that he created a program to teach his daughter, and his daughter speaking excellent English. I couldn't believe it. And now his English was at the level that he was able to help me to translate the YouTube video clip. For some YouTube video clip in English that I want to translate, I asked him and he could do that 80%. I only need to review. And how could a person coming from that low, which is like no English at all, through himself, and mostly because he has the determination after he went through our training and our coaching, he became so sure of himself. And we show him the tool too, like just, go out and here's some of the strategy you can approach to find a good program to teach yourself English. And he actually make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So he
lives in Vietnam, right?
Yeah, he lives in a very small village. I mean, a rural area, so the whole town, there is nobody can speak English like his daughter. Can you? So now he's starting his dream. He's a teacher, but now he started his dream to build a school for kids. So I share with him a lot of good stuff. So he because his daughter is in the school, right? And at that age, so he and his wife opened, this is a second school already, very successful, because the method that he used to teach his daughter is unique. So I can see so much potential in this gentleman. And I saw, oh my goodness, how many people I can touch like this? How many people I can impact? It's just incredible when people are empowered and when people know that they can do this and anchor in that best version of themselves, they become invincible. And that's my dream. That's my passion, to help others to really anchor in their best self so that they can overcome whatever challenge that's coming their way.
You're so inspiring. It's like, oh, how can I help? How can I help? So, are you currently receive any salary compensation to serve on these three organizations?
For the VCSA, I serve as a board member volunteer. I have been a volunteer for all of these years, or 20 plus years with this organization. ICVN, I give no salary in the first 2 years, but I told the board, if I raise $100,000, then I want 10%, which is $10,000. So you can say, okay, my salary will be $10,000 for that. And for Lyceum, because it's the fee-based training and coaching services, so the coaching services, then I got compensated for those clients that I coach or for the workshop I deliver. But again, it's all go to the organization. I only took out, some portion so that I can pay my bills. And I told myself, I give myself 3 years because I did save some money so that when I start all of this, I can, go on without a lot of compensation. But my goal is when I build Lyceum and I provide enough values to people, then abundance will come. And I live a very simple life, so I don't need a lot of money. So, I coming from an organization, I work at MD Anderson with the six-figure income and coming to this nonprofit with this less than $10,000. And I never look back. I never look back, and I never feel so much alive. Every day I get up, I can't wait to start the day and go about doing things. And I work so hard. Can you believe in the 2018, last year, the first 6 months, I didn't have any vacation. I worked 7 days. And each day, 16 hours. It just like I took my first day vacation in August. And I didn't notice that because working is like fun for me. It's like playing. So it's so powerful. It's so powerful seeing that. And some people said, Anhlan, but then look at your salary. It's funny. Like, how can you live on that? And I told them, again, I give myself 3 years. This is just the first year. And I make $10,000, which is not much. But then the coaching business pick up, right? And I could have done, coaching only, right? To get the benefit from that. But no, because my main driver is not the money. My main driver is how can I serve? How can I impact so many people and help people to really transform their life? And when I do that, the abundance will come to me. I know, I just know. I cannot explain to you why, but all the friends who doubtful and ask me, I just told them, I know it in my heart. And I just follow that with the faith that, and it is coming. It is coming because all the tremendous response that I got so far. Like I just started Lyceum in August last year. So just a few months. And I got like 5 speaking engagement lining up. And by the way, I can come and speak to any organization. For nonprofits, I can work with them with the, kind of low budget. But I want to spread out the message of emotional intelligence and grace. So contact me if you want. But it is my passion that drives me. And I don't have any concerns. I don't have any worries about the income. It will come.
Yep, that's the abundant mindset. And that's, as a coach, we always encourage people to look into that. right? Because once you have that mindset, you vibrate the energy, the abundant energy that will attract the right opportunity, right people, the right clients, right, to you. I'm totally aligned. Totally aligned.
Mhm.
So it's said again, what is Grace model? Can you
Okay.
explain each word in detail?
So grace is excel is a good word because anybody grace is something beautiful, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually the acronym of the five values. The G stands for gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
And as I mentioned, gratitude is the most powerful values that we can live by that help us to live a happy life. To practice gratitude is really appreciate yourself. You start with yourself. You have to be grateful of becoming a human being on this earth, right? With the consider the chance to become a human being is only like 1 out of 100,000 trillion. Uh, it's amazing. And then also being grateful for all the blessings, the simple blessings in your life, and then grateful for the environment. Like just like in the morning, practice like 3 minutes or even 1 minute of gratitude by putting your hands on your heart and realize that it's beating for you. Have you ever thought about that? Like what force that really run the beating? You don't tell it, beat it, right? Beat it itself. But what force is that? It is the subconscious mind in your body that doing it. And the heart has been working so hard for us since the day we born. Because if it stop beating, you die. So, but you never take time to really appreciate that heart. So do that in the morning. Just, put your hand on your heart and just imagine and really tune in with your body to feel that the heart is beating and appreciate it. Send it appreciation. And then you imagine some of the experience that you love in the past and relive it. You gain tremendous energy when you anchor yourself in those moments, the best moment of your life. And with that, you start your day with so much energy. So that is only one tip in one of the classes that I have taught.
That's the letter G. That's
Yeah,
gratitude. Did you
yes,
go over R yet?
not yet. So now R is respect.
Okay.
Again, respect. You start with respect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's all start with yourself. Respect yourself, which means you don't do anything harmful to your body because your body is something sacred. And by respect yourself, you control your thoughts. You don't want to have negative thoughts because believe it or not, and this is neuroscientists said, not me, that that negative thoughts really toxin into your body.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you harm your body if you have negative thoughts. So manage your thoughts, manage your emotion, same way as the negative thought. Negative emotions also create a lot of tremendous energy drain in your body. So you feel helpless, you feel very tired. And you,
A. Let's
okay, so
continue.
A is accountability,
Okay.
ownership of yourself and of the action. Like things can happen to you, but you have the choice to pick. The choice is yours.
Mm-hmm.
And but in order to stay accountable, it's very hard, right? So you need the fourth letter, which is C, stand for courage.
Mm.
It's not easy to be accountable for your actions and for things that happen to you that you have no control. So it takes courage, and courage is not like you don't have fear. You do have fears. Everybody has fear,
Mm-hmm.
but you go through it. You go through the fear with courage. And the last one is the most important one because if you have all the four but you don't have the E, then you don't have any actions. It's engagement.
Mm.
Engagement is all about connecting, right? But the first step is connecting to yourself. Remember, connecting to yourself is the most important. Respect yourself is the most important thing. Because if you not connect to yourself, you will not be anchored on your best self. So connect to yourself, connect to others. And after all, we are all in it together. Now, nowadays, there's a lot of leadership that based on hatred, that based on divisiveness, like here, me, and them. But the thing is that all of us here on this planet together, right? The climate change, it doesn't distinguish between me and them. It's everybody. So we are in this together. The 8 billion people will not become humanity without you. Without you, there is no humanity. But without humanity, there is no you. So that's interconnectedness. It's so important. And people tend to forget. We tend to walk down into the little bitty details and focus on the differences instead of focus on the connectedness. And people, the look are different, the race is different, the culture are different, but we are all in this together. And how can we stress enough to see that this world, this whole world of humanity, we have to build the consciousness of human being up to another level. And with grace, we can do that.
That's wonderful. I have very similar practice, and absolutely gratitude is number one, because we cannot. Gratitude is the place where we need to have to be grounded, right? To feel grounded. We to
be peaceful.
To be peaceful. Yep. Yeah. Without it, without it, nothing else matter, right? So, who do you serve? You mentioned that youth, right?
I serve actually everybody who wants my service. I serve, so I do not have. But of course, based on my background, I work very well with young adults, especially.
At what age?
18 to 25. I have a client that's 17 years old, so it's a little bit younger, but I can also work with their parents. So my intention is that one of my passion is how can I help Asian American families that have teenagers. Did you know, like, all the parents had issue with teenagers, or mostly, right? And so we are putting together a parenting for teens workshop that I think helping coaching both, like parents and children together, so that they can have the best relationship they could have. And that is my passion too. But I have not implemented that. We're still working on the curriculum. I think we will be ready in the spring. And I'm thinking about even bringing that as some module to serve different communities where Vietnamese Americans or Asian American communities are, popular. So like that's enough population to serve. And I can find some funder. I already got some funders told me, okay, Anhlan, if you bring that conference for parents out, I want to sponsor for 10 cities. Just bring it, I'll pay. You see? So
10 seating or 10 cities?
10 cities, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 cities. Like Orange County, San Diego, San Jose, San Francisco, Houston, Austin, Dallas, San Antonio, you name it. So identify those 10 cities that with the highest. And remember, I'm from Canada. I was originally from Canada. So Toronto, Vancouver has also a large community there, Asian community, and so on and so forth. Because the thing is, you want to replicate, right? You want to really have a message you want to share. And my goal is not keep it to myself. I want to spread the message.
Of course.
I want to empower the people to become a tribe. So when I did a visualization of the future, I envisioned a community of coaches. And I call them G.R.A.C.E coaches that share my same passion. Because I cannot do it alone. I need more people to join the band and just go out and make the difference. It is very rewarding. And I can't wait to see that unfold. But of course, in God's will, I follow God's will.
We all do.
Yeah.
We all follow God's plan, right?
The issue is that you don't know what God's plan for you.
That's right.
You
That's
just
right.
put the trust out there and said, okay, God, I feel so upbeat working on this.
Is this the one? Is it the right one? Is that the right
Then
plan?
you try, but when things didn't work out, right? When things didn't go the way that you expected, then you might want to reflect and ask yourself, maybe this is not what God wants you to do. So maybe just keep your mind open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it's okay. It's okay to fail. We need to fail fast so that we can be successful.
Yeah. So, how do you want others to get in touch with you to learn more about all of the organization that you are currently serving?
Of course, you can go to my personal blog. By the way, I just have this blog last August. And given my busy time, I'm traveling a lot to do different speaking engagement and workshop. So my time is a little bit limited, but I try to keep up with that. So you can come to anhlanthecoach.blog. That is my blog. I would try. One of my resolution this year is at least I have to log 1 or 2 articles. I love to write, by the way. I love to write. But writing to the public is another thing. I have to be careful and edit it well before I publish. But come and visit me at the anhlanthecoach.blog. And also on Facebook, you search for Anhlan the Coach. I have a personal profile, public profile there. And for the organization, you can go to Lyceum, and the Lyceum, Lyceum Global, GLOBAL.net. LyceumGlobal.net.
All right. Thank you. And I will also include all those organizations that you are serving, like
Yes,
I see.
website.
Yeah, the website. Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for being with us today, Dr. Anhlan Nguyen. I admire your passion, drive, and the impact that you and your husband are making to the Vietnamese communities, as well as the Asian American and Canadian American, the Asian Canadian. Best wishes to you.
Thank you
Now,
so much.
you're welcome. Now, to our viewers and listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, review, rank, and share the Asian Women of Power podcast with others. We would appreciate your support. Until next time, live life loud. Goodbye now.